Welcome back to the second episode of this one shot. I hope you will everything. He stared at her and he nodded. It seems we have been together for 2 years. He tried to keep saying he needed to be. His fingers fumbled with his blanket. He was desperately trying to keep his tears, desperately trying not to break down. His chest hurt so much he was heartbroken and hiccuped. He needed air. He was feeling like his world was crumbling down. The only person that kept him sane was now on the other side of the room, not remembering him. Please calm down. We don't know yet how long it will take him to regain his memory. Have faith. The nurse was stroking his arm and helping him breathe. Give him some time. It will be all right. Thang only nodded. It's all my fault. If I hadn't distracted him, if I wasn't so stupid. It's not your fault. Don't blame yourself. The door was pushed open and Thang's mom rushed in. She scanned the room before they landed on Thang's mom. Sweetheart, she cried out and she looked at him and took him in her arms. This time tears split from eyes and Thang sobbed into her chest. It's my fault, it's all my fault, Thang kept repeating. He gripped his mom's jacket till his clenches turned white. The nurse backed off before she explained everything to his mom and she went to Jungkook's side. Thang held his mom close to him. He sobbed all all of his pain, the pain from his shattered heart, the pain from his body and the guilt, everything was coming out at once. His mom was caressing his back and held him tight. After some time, Thang looked back at his mom with dry tears on his cheeks. Mom, I'm so sorry, it's all my fault. He doesn't remember me. He sniffed and he tightened his grip on her shirt. Oh baby, good, sometime it will be all right. Thank you. It's sometime. He was discharged from hospital before Jungkook and he didn't have time anymore to say anything to him. He was still recovering and sleeping a lot. He did leave him a note though. He hoped that it would help, but now 2 weeks has passed and he was getting worried. He had texted him, yes. Why did he did that? He didn't know. He didn't remember him anyways. Jungkook's mom had texted him that Jungkook was being discharged today and Thang felt hopeful. He hoped that if he saw him this time, he would recognize him. He was a bit nervous though. He had packed some stuff from Jungkook from their shared apartment and stood at the entrance of the Jungkook's family home. He had been here more often than not, but now it felt like he was doing. He took a deep breath and opened the door. He still had the key. Jungkook had given him and stepped inside. He heard some voices coming from and living room and he slowly walked in the direction. Taehoong, you are here? How are you feeling? Jungkook's mom surprised and walked in his direction. Good afternoon, I'm doing fine. The cast was taken off yesterday, Taehoong answered in a soft voice. He smiled at her and nodded. I have brought some belongings of Jungkook. Taehoong looked around and his eyes stayed on the form sitting on the couch. Even now his heart is sped up seeing him handsome he was, and that was his boyfriend. He still couldn't believe how lucky he was. A broad smile pulled on his face as he walked over to Jungkook. You had some stuff at my place. I have brought them to you. Taekook lied. He couldn't say now that they actually shared an apartment and that they had planned to get married next year. Why was my stuff at your place? Jungkook asked curiously and looked at Taekook with a frown. You stayed over a few times. Taekook scratched his back off his head and handed Jungkook the bag of clothes. He kept smiling while he looked at Jungkook, and he just wanted to leap into that strong chest. He had missed his sister so much, and he missed this man around him. We are friends, Taehyung continued and lied when he saw the questions in Jungkook's eyes. The words hurt his chest when he spoke them, and he had to take a deep breath to erase the pain. He had to be strong now for both of them. Jungkook's eyes dragged over Taehyung's tall figure and took in everything. It made Taehyung a bit nervous. Jungkook would usually only do that when he was needy, and this felt like that, but Jungkook didn't do it because he wanted Taehyung. He did it because he didn't know him anymore. His eyes stopped and at his hand. Taehyung looked down and he saw what he was looking at. He quickly pulled his hand back at his behind his back and smiled. Are you engaged? Jungkook asked. He looked back at Taehyung. No, this is a gift from my grandmother. Taehyung lied through gritted teeth. Jungkook nodded and he relaxed into the couch and closed his eyes. I should get going. I see you are tired. Taehyung stepped back and said his goodbye to Jungkook and his mom. Before he quickly left the house, he swelled hard when tears gathered in his eyes. Leaned back again in his car and closed his eyes. Guilt was eating him alive. The way Jungkook looked at him as if he was a stranger killed him inside. How long could he live with this guilt? He couldn't keep on pretending everything was alright. He just wanted to be wrapped in those arms again and told that everything would be alright and everything was fine. But what if Jungkook would never remember him? That thought only broke him, and he quickly drove back to the apartment they used to share. He was keeping it clean and sometimes went there to just remember how it was, but the guilt would always eat him and he couldn't stay there. Now he just wanted those memories back. He wanted to remember that Jungkook from before. Jungkook was back home. He was staying with his family and he was recovering, but one thing kept nagging at him. He couldn't get the boy out of his head at all. He didn't remember anything from him, though. He just felt warm when he smiled. The smile felt so familiar. Who was the boy and that had been there at hospital? His family told him that he was very close to him, but why couldn't he remember such a smile? He tried to get back memories from the last 3 years, but it only caused a stabbing pain in his head and he would always collapse just thinking about it. He gave up on that and just hoped it would soon get better and he would start to remember little bits again. The doctor had given him hope that they couldn't say how long it would take. He had read the little note the boy Taehyung had left for him in the hospital. It was an apology for the accident and that he would always be there for him if he needed him. It was confusing. He didn't remember the accident and he wanted to know what it was that caused the pull to the tall boy. He, he wanted to know if they were just friends. Over the next week that he was recovering at home, he would drop at by sometimes and talk, mostly with his mom. He would observe them from afar. He saw how his mother consoled him and watched how Taehyung was keeping up a strong demise. No, Mom, why couldn't you tell me who is he? Jungkook asked when they were alone again. He asked her before, but she would only sigh. I told you it's not my place. You have to find out yourself because I don't want to hurt any of you. She told him with a sigh, and he also saw the hurt in her eyes. He felt frustrated with those answers. He felt angry for not remembering. He needed to know who the boy was to him. Why was he making his heart beat faster when he smiled at him? Why did his touch cause a spark in his body? The rain was clattering against the window, and Jungkook watched the droplets chase down the window like a car race. His mind was elsewhere. It has been 6 weeks now since he came home, and in the last few days Taehyung hasn't visited them. He felt his heart tighten like he missed his presence. He had grown fond of him and he had always looked out for his visit. He still couldn't remember what his relation was with him, but he wouldn't mind getting to know him once again. He startled from a soft knock on the door. He hesitated, got up from the couch. Who could be at this hour and in this rain? He walked to the door and once again a soft knock came. I'm coming, please wait, he said, and unlocked the door. What stood before him had his chest tightened, soaked it to the bone. He stood there. His eyes red, rimmed, as if he had been crying, and still was as if heard a soft sob came from his lips. Jungkook Taehyung choked up. Jungkook couldn't form any word as he was still shocked that he was standing here before him after he hadn't shown up the last few days. He suddenly felt weight warm wrapped around his waist and a soft head pulled his hair pressed against his shoulder. His heartbeat sped up and unconsciously wrapped his arm around the shivering body. I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore. It's all my fault. Taehyung mumbled onto Jungkook's chest. Soft sobs were overpowered by the rain. Please come in first. You are soaked. Jungkook said. He pulled Taehyung away from him. No, I can't. I wouldn't anymore. Taehyung sobbed and his finger crawled into the now also soaked shirt of Jungkook. I can't live with this guilt anymore. I can't watch you live without knowing what I have done to you. Because I distracted you, we had an accident. Because I desperately needed a kiss. Taehyung continued. A kiss? Jungkook said confusedly. Why did he needed to kiss him? Yes, a kiss. We were out on an evening date, and while we were driving back, you looked at me when I teased you, and I leaned in to kiss you when it happened. It was all my fault. If I hadn't done that, you would still remember me. We would be living happily and get married next year. Taehyung was loudly sobbing now. He was throwing everything out he had been holding on to for too long. Jungkook looked at him in shock. Everything he heard had his head hurting and slowly the memories started to float back. The accident, a smile face that was leaning in lights, but he still can't remember anything else. Taeyang fell down on his weak knees and sobbed onto his hand. Jungkook felt confused. He leaned down to pick Taeyang back up, but was pushed away. Please don't. I can't handle it anymore. I can't live with this guilt anymore, Taeyang. Now, said in a weak voice. Jungkook watched how he pulled the ring he had seen on his finger weeks before off and pushed it onto Jungkook's hand. What is this? Jungkook asked, and Taeyang smiled up at him sadly. His lips trembled as he tried not to break down again. I was your fiance. You proposed me 2 months ago. I was over the moon. I was so ready to spend the rest of my life with you. I'm so sorry. Taeyang stood back and closed Jungkook's finger around the ring in his hand. Taeyang's finger trembled. I want you to find happiness again. I can't live with the fact that I caused all of this. Please be happy for me. I'm sorry. I will get my stuff from your apartment and leave. Taeyang pulled his hand away from Jungkook's and walked back. He waved once more before he turned around and ran back through the pouring rain. He left a confused and trembling Jungkook in his doorway. That was all. After this, Jungkook opened his hand and looked at the silver ring in his palm, and stable pain coursed through his head. A gone left his lips, and the memories flashed back his mind. The happy smile, the blushing and flushed skin of the boy that had that just left him. His chest tightened and his heart chattered. He didn't want this. He didn't want him to leave him. He needed him even when his memories of him wasn't completely yet. He knew he wanted him. He felt how much his body longed for him. He knew. He felt how his heart started beating faster for him. He rushed back inside, looking for his phone. He must have memories of him on it. He hadn't had his phone with him as it was all damaged and they gave it to repairing center. His phone just came back from the repairing shop 2 days ago, but Jungkook didn't check it yet. And now that he got his memories back, he needed to clarify everything. He rushed to his room and grabbed the drawer from the dresser. He opened the album and a sob left his lips. Under its snow, thousands of pictures appeared before him, and him with Taeyang of Taeyang alone, smiling, laughing, his bare cheeks on display, his phone, everything. Jungkook felt his tears fall down his face. He needed him. He didn't want him to leave him. He loved him. He resolutely stood up and looked around the apartment. He remembered it now, the apartment he shared with Taeyang, where they lived together before the accident. He stumbled in front door and grabbed his car key. On the chain was also the key of the apartment, and he rushed out, not even feeling the rain. His breath quickened as he panicked. He needed to get to set this straight. While driving, new memories came rushing in his mind. Every smile had him sobbing harder. Now, how much Taeyang had felt the past weeks, he couldn't stand the thought of the boy in misery all the time. He just hoped he was in time. Jungkook pushed the door open and stumbled onto the apartment. He stood in the dark corridor and, without turning any lights on, walked further in. His sobs and the rain beating against the window. The only thing that could be heard, his knees trembling, and he opened the door to the bedroom and they once shared. A cry left his lips, looking at the neatly made bed. How Jungkook would always scold him if he didn't make the bed again. Oh, how he missed his scoldings. His knees gave out and he fell down against the end of the bed, his face pushed in the cover, and he sobbed. He just made this harder decision of his life, and it felt as if his soul was ripped out of his chest. A big gap, gaping hole on was all there was left. Had made the decision to let Jungkook go. It was for the best. He had wanted to stay by his side even if he would never remember him anymore, but his heart longed for him too much. He didn't know how long he was able to hide the feelings and someday do something that would push Jungkook away from him completely. This was the best. This way he couldn't hurt Jungkook any further and he would be able to start over. Maybe in another life they were meant to be. Maybe if he could just go to that next life now. Thing cried his heart out into the bed, his soaked cloth sticking to his searing body, his hair plastered against the face, but the only thing he could feel was numbness. He didn't hear how the front door was slammed open and two pair of feet rushed inside. Taehyung, are you here? Taehyung stopped breathing as he suddenly heard Jungkook's voice. Was he dreaming? This could be true. Jungkook didn't know who he was anymore, and another tear fell from his reddened eyes. Again the voice called for him and Taehyung sat up. Was he really here? Why? He couldn't handle seeing him again. His heart couldn't anymore. The door of the bedroom was pushed open and there stood Jungkook, soaked in wet and out of breath. Love, please don't leave me. I remember you. Jungkook cried out and pushed to the Taehyung's side. He pulled him up and tightly held him, his arm tightly wrapped around Taehyung's shivering form, and Jungkook pushed his face in Taehyung's neck and cried. Taehyung's eyes widened when he felt the cold and wet clothes against his. Through Jungkook's wet shirt, he could hear the erect beating of Jungkook's heart. I remember you, how much I love you. Your smile could ever not be remembering. Your laugh clenches that frown, those naughty eyes. How could I not? I'm so sorry. Jungkook whispered into Taehyung's neck, his fingers drew circle on his back. He breathed in that that smell that was uniquely Taehyung's. More memories appeared in his mind and his lips pulled onto a smile. The accident wasn't your fault. Please don't ever feel guilty about it anymore. A drunk driver came onto the wrong lane and crashed onto us. Even if you hadn't tried to kiss me, it would still had happened. Jungkook explained, and his lips gusted over the soft skin of Taehyung's neck. How he missed He now felt complete again. The past weeks had felt so empty, as if something was missing. Now he knew what it was. Taeyong wrapped him in embrace completely. Him. I wouldn't let you leave even if I didn't remember you. Your smile made me feel things even now that I remember you interrupted me. Taeyong. Jungkook pulled back and held Taeyong's face in his hands. He wiped the tears from his cheeks and kissed his nose softly. Please let this not be a dream, Taeyong sobbed. He cried his fingers around. He curled his fingers around Jungkook's wrists. It's not, baby. I remember everything from you. The the way I fall in love with you, your sparkling eyes, how they look at me, our dates, our times together, your reddened cheeks when we kissed. I miss you so much. Jungkook smiled and leaned his forehead against Taeyong's. Taeyong's face brightened and he burst into a soft kisses. His heart greatly sighed as he looked onto Jungkook's sincere eyes. Jungkook pulled away softly and pulled his sparkling ring from his pocket. I hope you still want this. I want it. Please be my boyfriend once again. Please be my fiance. Please marry me again, Jungkook said with a small smile on his lips. Thanks could only gasp and nod his head frequently. He was speechless, still processing what all just happened. He laughed bunchily off the walls as Jungkook breathed out sigh after laugh. Yes, of course, I'm so happy, yelled loudly, and Jungkook grabbed his hand, pushed the ring onto his fingers again. He pulled his hand to his face and kissed the back of it softly. Taeyong watched it and bathed breath. He couldn't believe that Jungkook was really here, standing in front of him, remembering him again. Now where we were, I thought we wanted to admire you, Jungkook said. Taeyong was confused for a bit, not knowing what Jungkook was talking about, but when he remembered the car ride home was a purpose and Taeyong felt his face heat up. Jungkook, what, don't you think that's a bit soon? He mumbled, embarrassed. His body shivered from the soaked cloth and Jungkook pulled him closer against him again. Too soon? It's been way too long since I hold you and my memories of you crying under me has been already. Jungkook whispered in Taeyong's ear. Taeyong felt his cheek burn as Jungkook leaned in closer. He pulled him closer by his waist and Taeyong indeed felt something and Jungkook's sweat-pant lips were suddenly pushed on his own and Taeyong sighed into the kiss. He had missed this so much. To take things slow, he had yearned for Jungkook's touch. I'm all yours, never leaving you. You are mine forever, Jungkook whispered against Taeyong's lips and he watched Taeyong, a smile pull on his face. Please have me forever, Taeyong cried when Jungkook started to move closer to him. It was slow and love-filled, unlike their emotions right now. Both men breathed hard as they looked at each other while Jungkook slowly captured Taeyong's lips in his in a breathtaking kiss. After they were done, Jungkook leaned over Taeyong to kiss his face everywhere. I love you, baby, Jungkook whispered and he stroked the damp hair on Taeyong's head. Both men were coated in sweat now and breathing hard. After some time, Taeyong opened his eyes, smiled up at Jungkook. He grasped Taekook's arm with his finger. "I love you too," Taekook whispered and kissed Jungkook softly. He pulled Jungkook on top of him and they made out like that. When they pulled back for breath, Jungkook pulled Taekook's hand onto his face and kissed the ring in his finger. The moon illuminated them through the window. The rain was only a soft dripping bell and the full moon shining as the clouds moved away. Jungkook watches things beneath him. "Let's start this all over again. You are near getting rid of me again." Jungkook grinned and Taekook pinched his arm as if "The next time I'll kiss you so hard that you will have to remember who you belong to." Taekook clenches and Jungkook laughed filled the room. A comfortable silence filled the room, and Jungkook laid his head on Taekook's chest. He shivered the strong heartbeat and thundered under his cheeks. This is real. This wasn't a dream. He was back in Taekook's arms and nothing would get him out of them again. Fate has brought them together once again, and this is all they needed to be together always. The end. So everyone, how was it? Don't forget to comment it down. I'll see you with another Taekook FF or one shot. Till then, take care of yourself. Bye bye.